Pretty early on in undergrad, I had a professor say, like, are there ways to talk about the body where you're not just showing the body in like the most obvious way? And I think that's a question that I've always keep coming back to, is like, how can I make sculptures and installations that are about our experiences in our bodies, but it's not obvious physical representation of the body? When I'm thinking about control of our bodies, or of my body, I think a lot about, like, as a kid, and even still now, it's like I have a lot of trouble controlling my tears, and I'll just like cry at an instant. And those experiences, it's like there's so much like shame and taboos around that, and so there are all these moments where I like won't speak because I know I'll cry if I do. And so like that's like this experience that I'll draw on, and then I'll like be like, how do I make work that's sort of talking about these moments of like not being able to control that thing in my body, but that can translate, I think, then like really differently for someone else who has an experience in this completely other way. And so like similarly, I'm also thinking a lot about like, I make these pieces that are like leaking this sort of like red kind of globby stuff. And so for me, I'm thinking a lot about like menstruation and sort of a lot of the like taboos around and like shame around those moments of not being able to control your body. But then I'm also thinking about like my experiences having an abortion and like that sort of moment of like your body kind of like releasing this other sort of form and body. I mean, I love hair too, because I think it's like this really kind of like beautiful, or thought of as like really nice when it's part of your body. And then like when it's like in your food or like found laying around in the drain or whatever, it's like sort of disgusting. And I think that's one of the reasons I often bring hair in, because it's kind of that like, when are things part of our body and when do they leave the body, and that we're like really concerned with those moments, and that it's often about this like sort of moving across the border of the body in a certain kind of way. When other people come to it, you know, I've had people come and say, oh, to me this is like about menopause, or this is about like chronic illness, and because those are like other moments where someone else has that same experience of like not being able to sort of like contain the sort of things that we think are like messy, that you shouldn't really like show or allow to sort of cross that like that boundary of the body. And so I think that's what I mean of, I'm like drawing from my experience, but I'm trying to make it both like specific to my experience, but also sort of materially abstract in these ways that then other people can bring their own experiences. And then through those conversations, I start to also be able to kind of build from their experiences as well. In some way, I think we all experience, I mean, obviously in very different ways, but it's, we're all in bodies that are falling apart in all their different ways, but also like really materially amazing.